So I'm trying to work out some of the ifs and ands and buts of what happens if I permanently put this panel in. And right now I think I'm in a good position that I could do it. Of course, you silicone this in and then, you know, rivet it. So I think it's time to actually do that. And then once I do that, re-drill the holes from underneath, because this panel doesn't have any holes, but underneath in the body has holes for the driver's license and the reverse tail lights and, you know, anything else that's going underneath. So I think I'm going to silicone everything up and then get started on this. Once I get it riveted in and held in place, then I'll re-drill some holes through and possibly mount some stuff and get it all solidified. So yesterday I got this bottom panel in and all my brackets for my reverse lights and license plate. And so the black looks really nice. Really looks cool. My license plate holder. So I had to loosen up my exhaust system and move it to get some of the parts in, but everything's in now. So now we're back to the catch-22 of, you know, if I do the wiring now, then I have to cut the carpet and go around it instead of putting a hole in the carpet and then feeding the wire through. So I guess the next thing I'm going to do is maybe work on this area and see what I could do, because if I could get everything dialed in, I just remembered, I don't know if I'm gonna actually use these holes to get in there and adjust the trunk, because that's what it's for. And I have my trunk pieces like lined up of exactly where it was. So I'm assuming that if I lock that in and I get the trunk and I stick it through and I put it on the thing, that it's just going to perfectly lock to where it was. Now, let's assume the body is exactly where it was, because it has the same exact spacers that it had before. Then I can seal these up right now and I can carpet and do everything and be fine. But if that's not the case, then there's no way except for cutting this all out, because the carpet's going to be glued, that I can't do that. So I think I'm just going to have to wire stuff up and cut the carpet around it later. So that's what I'm thinking what's happening, but we will see. But in any case, this came out really nice. Now the one thing is I had to put this panel edge on the inside, which originally is supposed to be on the outside, but there's no way to do that unless you put this panel on before you put the car on. And I don't think in the manual it actually says you should do it in that order. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So what that's left me is a little bit of a unpainted area, which I'll just paint in afterwards. But besides that, everything went smooth, and I think I could put this panel in because I'm not really. The way I hold my phone with my hand, it's like always 10 degrees off. I'm like, yeah, see right here, I need to do this. Oh yeah, it's down there. I think I could put that panel in because I don't know what the reason of that panel is actually. Maybe it's for a 3-link or for something else like that. I'm not really sure. So I think I'm going to patch that in, and then we should be good to go there. So we will see. All right, so my center console I'm taking apart because it's a little too tall, and I don't think it's the carpet because I accounted for that. I had, I don't know if it's on my sheets here. No, it used to be on my sheet, and it had like the insulation and the carpet crushed and the carpet not crushed, and like I had all the calculations of what it would be, which I believe at the end of the day is about a 1/2 inch. And so I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is this trans tunnel just did not go in the way it was in originally for whatever reason. I have no idea. And so I think it's just a little bit further back out, which means the rise of it is a little further back out, which means this is higher. So the only option I have right at this moment is to slice this across the whole bottom to make this shorter. And that worries me a little bit because of my cup holder, of how deep it needs to go. And then I also need to carve out a little section because my CPU or ECU is just an inch over far enough and low hanging enough that it's bumping into it. So those are two things I need to do. And I don't want to say I'm dreading it, but I kind of am because I'm in metal car mode and not woodworking mode. So I need to dig in through the layers and get my table saw out and see if I could perform one cut on each side that like solves all my problems, and then I'm good to go. Or if this is going to be a 3-hour arm wrestle to get this thing to work. The good news is I was thinking about this wireless unit and the way that you assign your keys is through like a little button down there. And I'm like, if this thing is buried inside of here and I need to reassign a button because I changed a battery or something, geez, man, that's just gonna be a nightmare. So I just so happen to have enough wire to maybe Velcro this up here. So then all I have to do is actually just pop this off, do what I need to do, pop that back on, and then good to go. So I don't have to go into the actual center console plate, which I need to order. You know, I need to get my plate made. So yeah, I'm happy about that because I really didn't want to extend all those wires. It's just kind of a lot. So, and now it's in a tight area and I got carpet and doing heat shrink with carpet and, you know, too much. So I guess what I'm going to be doing is pulling that thing out and seeing what I could do to resurrect this, this issue. And I think I'm going to do one side at a time. That way, just do one side, put it back on, do the other side, put it back on, see what happens. I could test fit the side panel by itself though. All right, so this center console is turning out to be a 3-hour project. What I wanted to show you is if you go back to my original center console video, I'm sure I use this special sled. And what this allows you to do is you could see that this line is not, you know, perpendicular to this line. And so I could adjust this any way I want to, and then slide the whole mechanism across the blade, and it will cut odd angles. So since I have to do all these weird angles, I use this sled, no hands, and I put it through, and I use this to do all sorts of cabinetry and furniture that I built. So I'm going to get this all cut up doing that, and then we're going to try to get these holes drilled out. The other thing is where my cup hole needed to be, and you can see the offset here. Why this seemed to all work before, I have no idea, because this needs to go over a lot. So that's why I'm making this whole thing, because I just felt this would look better if I moved it where it needed to go. Alright, so we're going through our panel. We finally got this all to work, and this all matches up, and it's cut in nice. I did the whole panel again. And so now that it's all fitting, the carpet's in, you know, there'll be whatever 1/8 inch of you know, vinyl leather going around that. I'm not too worried about that. But I wanted to verify that, you know, this is fitting in there. And if I get the final sheet, which might look something like this, anodized metal, probably black. This light switch is just impossible. It's huge. So originally I had it up here, and you can't get it there because the wires don't go there, and I can't go up, the wires don't go there. The only option I have is for the wires to actually go down, and then I can get this out of the way. If I go inside, it's hitting all the back of these buttons, because, you know, all this stuff comes out. So the only option I have is to put this down, which is where I was going to have the ignition switch. And so now this needs to be the light switch. And I think I'll just put the ignition up there, which will be easier to reach, actually. And even though my keys might dangle into this button, that's my reverse light. It's not a big deal. I do have a USB charger, and it's like, well, I could put that there, but then it gets behind the stick, and I don't know. It's getting a little weird, and I'd rather have the USB wires just come down. So I don't know. It's a little crazy. I don't really have a choice at this point. And I'm in the mode of just make it happen. Get this over with. I'm so close. I really just want to be done, if you will, you know. So, cup's working good. New panel's working good. I got to do a little, you know, filing, sanding. But other than that, I'm done with the woodwork. So my goal is in by like Tuesday or Wednesday to get this panel ordered. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing is when I use their specific program to lay all the stuff out, and then I export it to a PDF, and I pull the PDF into Photoshop and I go to print it out, it's not to scale. Like, it comes in at 21 inches or something. It's like, this is not 21 inches. And so you could see, like, this is scaled down like quarter scale, and then it's still too big. And so the last thing I want to do is order a panel and then get a 21 inch panel back. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I need to kind of relay this out, get these things figured out, and then have a conversation with them Monday and do whatever it takes to get across the finish line and get that thing ordered. I did talk to the upholstery guy. I don't know if I talked about this yet, but I could do this center console for about $125. And since we're going to have the gray dash, just sitting right there, I can't really see the color too well, but since we're going to have the gray dash, we're going to do this all in gray. I think it may be doing two-tone, but he was like, no, I'd rather see it all gray. And so I'm down with that. I'm totally fine with that. And if they have a gray panel, maybe I'll look at that, but I got a feeling the gray won't match anywhere near, because, you know, you only get like blue, green, black, gray. So it's not like I could dial it in. It's whatever the anodized colors are. So originally I was thinking of doing blue, which would kind of match my battery holder and stuff like that, but I think it might just get too gaudy, too pimpy, if you will. So I think black is kind of a better option. But I'll take a look at the gray, see what they think. And then I'm assuming I could get all this stuff etched in to where it's just like the raw aluminum or whatever. So that would be pretty cool looking. So yeah, we're doing pretty good there. Right now I got my license plate in with LED lights. I got my reverse lights. I'm taping some stuff right now because I'm gluing it in. So I'm waiting about 24 hours and then I'll pull that off. But everything's working, everything's dialed in, everything's wired up. I got all my stuff braided up underneath and in here, and then I just gotta get some new nuts to lock this all in. And you know, I bought like weather connectors because this has always been outside the car, if you will. And then I finally realized today when I'm putting this together, I'm like, well, this is in the trunk. It doesn't need to be weather, which are kind of big connectors. But I don't really care at this point. It's fine. Once I tuck it all in, get the black carpet in, it'll look fine. So that is doing great. And the list, if it exists here, is getting knocked out pretty well. So the fire extinguisher, I tried finding a place for it, and it's not really working where I wanted it to be. Originally, I wanted it to be down here, like bolted to this wall, which is a really good idea until you start looking at the clearance here and knowing that that trunk is, you know, double flanged or whatever, so in certain areas it's thick, and those areas are probably towards the side because you got that big X brace and then you got the sides coming down. So then I was like, well, you know, what if I put it in the corner? Well, now we're getting next to the hinges and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, that sucks. And one of the reasons that, another reason I wouldn't want it in this corner is, like, let's say I buy, I don't know, one of those like show plaque things that, you know, has all the information on the car for a car show. And let's say, I don't know if I'm going to fit it in here somehow, but let's say it was going to fit. This is, you know, be one of the places it would fit. And now you got this big thing in the way blocking. So I was thinking it might be best, like right there would be probably the most out of the way area. Problem is I can't mount to that anymore. That is gas tank. There's no way to drill through that. So kind of too late to do that one. So I'm just, you know, then, you know, I could do something like this, you know, but I can't do that until these panels are in, and I could do it where it's on one of these panels. So I could, I don't know. It's just one of the options I thought is maybe, well, if the hinges don't get in the way, which it sure looks like it would, something like this could be an option. And I do have access through the inside of the car to actually bolt this up this way. But I don't know. It's just not working out the way I thought it would. I mean, I guess I could put this down, but then it's not as cool looking because I got my nice anodized piece to hold it. So I don't know. And then I was like, well, where could I put it in the cab? Well, that was a false statement just coming out of my mouth. So, because there's no room for anything up here. So I don't know. These are the trials and tribulations that I go through every waking second of the day. So we will get there. We will get there.